20-year-old Siam Lee wanted to become a teacher and travel the world.
She was full of love and kindness.
But in 2018, she was abducted from a workplace by a man whom police say was obsessed with her.
This one was very unique. They knew each other.
It was an emotional case for a lot of people in KwaZulu-Natal.
Siam's body was found 2 days later in a sugarcane field 100 kilometers outside of Durban.
What did he do to her? What went on?
It doesn't matter what you do for a living. Nobody can rape you, murder you, and burn your body.
In this lush, rugged landscape, a smouldering body was found off the road between sugarcane stalks. It was so badly burnt that Siam was identified by the silver glitter nail polish on her fingers and toes.
But she was lying in this dying swan pose, and this hand was not burnt. It was the same color. Her flesh was normal, and her nail varnish was on this hand. But when I looked into her face, she had a whole hole in her face. There was no face, and there were no teeth.
But how did this young woman end up here? And who may have been responsible for her death?
And now we're going to have a bracelet.
Siam Lee was born in Hong Kong in 1997. Her mother was a sex worker and her father a wealthy South African from Johannesburg.
She was adorable. She was so sweet. Yeah, Hong Kong was just wonderful. I always wanted to go back. She wanted to go back, but it was never to be.
When Siam was 5 years old, she and her mom moved to Durban. She attended Crawford College, a plush private school in the high-end suburb of Lelusha, paid for by a trust fund set up by her deceased father. After finishing school, the trust fund payments stopped, and Siam began working as a waitress, a bar lady, promoter, and seller of pool chemicals. But in mid-2017, things changed drastically. Siam began performing sensual massages in 2017 through Red Velvet, an adult booking website. Here she is seen side by side with her mother under the moniker Student in Training. Her mother says they worked as a team under her watchful eye, and she allowed Siam to operate only as a masseuse.
It's very important people understand that Siam was never ever a prostitute, and she was never ever going to become one. You know, this was a means to an end until trust fund would be reinstated, or she had saved enough to study and go teach or whatever.
A few months after joining Red Velvet, Siam met the man whom police claim abducted and killed her. Siam operated out of this brothel in Margaret Matham Avenue in upmarket Durban North. In October 2017, a businessman by the name of Pelani Ntuli, driving a black Mercedes-Benz Viano, arrived for a massage from Siam. He messaged Siam later that same day to ask her out to dinner. Siam's mom also met Ntuli that night before their dinner date.
So when he arrived to pick her up in this big black loaf of bread, black Mercedes, I went, hello, how do you do? I'm Student in Training's mom. My name is Nan. That's why I recognized him, this big grin.
The couple left and Siam was back home by 10 p.m.
As she came into the door, which was 10:15, she went like this. Oh God, Mom, I never want to see that guy again. He's so weird. He's so creepy.
Did you pick up a weird vibe about him when you met him? Siam and her mother spent New Year's Eve at a popular trance music festival near Durban. After the celebration, Siam returned to work. But on January 4th, police say a man driving a black Mercedes-Benz Viano arrived at the brothel at about 4 p.m. Carrying an unlicensed firearm, he barged into Siam's room and forced her into his vehicle. They drove off at a high speed down this road. Police claim the Viano lost control here and hit a witness's vehicle. The angry witness gave chase and smashed into the back of the Viano, however the car sped away. After the kidnapping, police say the Viano traveled to this house in Shongweni, a 20-minute drive from the brothel in Durban North. Siam was kept here by Ntuli, according to police. Roughly 24 hours after the kidnapping, police say Siam was driven in the same Viano under cover of night for 60 kilometers to this location in New Hanover, though they cannot say whether she was still alive at this point or not. Near the sugarcane farm track, just off the main road, Siam's body was dumped, doused with petrol, and set alight. It was found the next morning by a local farmer going fishing at a nearby dam.
They dragged her in here, face down, feet that side.
1 year later, and the earth is still scorched. Nothing has been able to grow here since then.
And the most sickest, incomprehensible act I've probably done on her for 2 days. And she was the most gentlest, sweetest, kindest, timid, beautiful girl. I'll never be able to get my peace about that. Never, never.
Everybody was concerned about this case. Every guy in my industry, every policeman, every guy in the security industry, everybody tried to make a difference in this case because it was so heinous and something that had happened right on our back doorstep.
News of Siam's brutal death was met with intense public anger and sadness. Police and private investigators searched for any leads.
And then I received a phone call one day. The phone call was from a policeman who was standing over Siam's body in New Hanover, and that her body had been burned almost beyond recognition. On that day, I got on my knees on the veranda and I prayed to God that I'd be the person to arrest this man.
But then came a breakthrough. Private investigator Brad Nathanson received information from the witness whose car was hit by the Mercedes-Benz Viano.
The accident happened 2 minutes after Siam was allegedly abducted and within 200 meters of the actual place where she was abducted. That was indeed the tipping point, because what that got us to do was to check with the various insurance companies to see if a claim had been put in. We established that a claim had been put in.
He traced the vehicle to a house in Shongweni and contacted the police. Police impounded the car, and with Nathanson, they waited for the owner to return.
We watched him from up there. We watched him open the garage and literally stand there in shock for 20 seconds whilst he looked around for the motor car that wasn't there. And then went back to the driver's door of his car as if he was going to leave, and we stopped here and asked him to open the gate. I'll never forget taking that man down and handcuffing him and looking at his attire and smelling how good he smelled, expensive aftershave, and noting that he had a Mont Blanc pen in his pocket. And I thought to myself for a fleeting moment that I'd made a mistake, that I'd arrested the wrong guy. This guy was just too plausible. He was just too well spoken. He was too well polished. He was too well finished. It was impossible.
Philani Ntuli was arrested for the kidnapping and murder of Siam Lee. Philani Ntuli's case was headed to trial in July 2019. However, 1 month before Ntuli could face the charges against him in the Durban High Court, he died from skin cancer. At the time, he was out on bail and he was yet to plead in the matter. In an earlier interview with the police before Ntuli's death, investigators believed they had a strong case against him.
The accused is facing it's more than 8 charges, ranging from kidnapping, murder, defeating the ends of justice, possession of unlicensed firearms, and failing to report an accident, and more. I'm 90% sure that he'll get a conviction and a sentence and pay for what he has done to the woman.
Siam's mom moved out of her small 1-bedroom flat in central Durban and is currently residing in Bloemfontein.
She loved me so much. I mean, I wasn't a perfect mother. In so many ways, I wasn't a perfect mother. She always forgave me. I miss her so much.
Okay, wait a minute, Mom.
I wish my darling and we'll have many, many more beautiful, beautiful holidays together. Hope you wait.
Mama! Mama!
Hello, my darling.
You're coming back to me? How did you get here?